Cats at the small-town animal shelter. Staff members were used to pets being returned, but never so quickly. When the cat named Jasper was brought back only a day after being adopted, the staff were prepared for the worst. But as they unfolded the note that came with Jasper, their eyes welled up with tears. The words written in the note were both heartbreaking and revealing, shedding light on a story far beyond what anyone could have expected. Clara couldn't stop the tears from streaming down her face. She finally knew why Jasper had been returned so quickly, but it broke her heart, and she was determined to find the woman who had adopted him. Needed to have a word with her, she owed it to Jasper. Perhaps there was more to this story than Clara thought, but what was written on the note? Why had the woman returned Jasper? And would Clara's plan ever succeed? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Clara hadn't been working at the shelter for a long time yet, but she absolutely loved her new job. She enjoyed spending time with animals and she had a great relationship with her colleagues, but on this particular day, something special happened. It wasn't every day that Clara and her team managed to find a new home for the animals, but it normally did happen a couple of times a week. Clara loved seeing all the happy cats and dogs find their new families, and the new owners always left the shelter with a huge smile on their face. Every single time this happened, it completely made her day. The day before had been an amazing day because of that exact reason. She had finally found a home for Jasper, a young tabby cat that had been in the shelter since the day it was born. A woman had entered the shelter looking for a new pet, and as soon as she had laid eyes on Jasper, she knew that it had to be him. Clara and the rest of the staff were overjoyed, and they were relieved to know that little Jasper had finally found his new family where he would be treated with the love and care he deserved. But that wasn't the end of the story, for when Clara came into work that morning, she immediately noticed that something was off. She had felt this same atmosphere before, and it could only mean one thing: a previously adopted animal had been returned to the shelter. Then she made her way to the team's office. Once she arrived, she found all her colleagues inside, huddled together around the desk. "Hey guys, what's going on?" Clara asked, even though she thought she already knew the answer. Her colleagues turned around and she immediately saw the worried and sad expression on their faces. She immediately knew that her intuition had been right: someone had returned an animal. But why did everyone seem so upset? She approached the pink basket on the table and wondered which of the recently adopted animals was lying inside. She got close enough to recognize it. She gasped. This couldn't be. It was Jasper. He had not even been adopted 24 hours ago and his new owner had already returned him. What? How? Why? She exclaimed, unable to form a complete sentence. Mary, one of her colleagues, was holding a piece of paper, and Clara understood that this was a note that had been delivered with Jasper, possibly as some sort of explanation for why the woman had returned him so quickly. Clara extended her hand, eager to uncover the reason behind Jasper's abrupt return. However, Mary, tears streaming down her face, grasped the note firmly. With a sudden, decisive motion, she tore it into shreds, her voice trembling. "It's better we don't know." Shocked, Clara could only stare at the pieces of paper fluttering to the ground. Confusion and concern spread among the shelter staff. Clara's eyes met those of her colleagues, each reflecting the same bewilderment. So why would Mary destroy the note? What could have been written on it that was so distressing? The staff gathered, each offering their own speculation. Despite the rampant speculations, Mary remained a silent enigma. Whispers filled the corners of the shelter as the staff speculated about the note. The lack of information about Jasper's adoption and quick return left Clara increasingly unsettled. Each unanswered question added to her restlessness. Driven by a mix of duty and compassion, Clara's resolve to uncover the truth about Jasper's return grew stronger. She began to imagine ways to investigate, to reach beyond the walls of the shelter for answers. She would start by reviewing Jasper's adoption paperwork, hoping to find a lead. After gathering her thoughts and steeling her nerves, Clara started by meticulously reviewing Jasper's adoption records. Clara delved into Jasper's adoption records, her fingers swiftly flip-flip-layered through the pages. Clara's eyes caught the address listed in the adoption records. It was a tangible lead, something she could follow up on. Resolute, she decided to visit the address. She hoped that by going there, she might find some clues or perhaps even meet someone who knew the adopter. With this new plan, Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose. Clara arrived at the address listed in Jasper's adoption records, her heart filled with a mix of hope and apprehension. However, her hope quickly dissipated when she learned from a neighbor that the woman who had adopted Jasper had moved away recently, leaving no trace behind, not even a forwarding address. Clara stood there, feeling a sense of loss and confusion. The absence of a forwarding address deepened the mystery. Clara's mind raced with questions. Why would the woman leave without a trace? Every clue that Clara followed seemed to lead to another dead end. The frustration was palpable, but she refused to let it deter her. With each passing day, her determination only grew stronger, fueled by a combination of concern for Jasper and a deep-seated need to find answers. Clara knew that understanding Jasper's story was crucial, not just for her peace of mind, but for the well-being of the cat who had unwittingly become the center of this enigma. In a quiet corner of the shelter, Mary finally opened up to Clara. "I destroyed the note because I wanted to spare us all the heartache," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. The words written on it were too sad, too heavy for us to bear. Clara listened, a mix of surprise and empathy dawning on her face. Mary's eyes held a distant look as she recounted the note's contents, not in words, but in emotion. Clara saw the pain and compassion etched on Mary's face, understanding that the note had deeply affected her. With a renewed sense of mission, Clara began to plan her next steps. Clara, with a mix of trepidation and determination, finally made contact with Jasper's adopter. With Mary's reluctant assistance, she reached out, only to be met with a brief and tense conversation. The woman's steadfast refusal to discuss Jasper's abrupt return left Clara grappling with an array of unanswered questions. Observing Clara's persistent efforts, Mary suggested it might be time to let go and find Jasper another home. Yet, Clara felt an unwavering commitment to uncover the full story. Mary's hesitation and doubts only served to strengthen Clara's resolve. She continued to reach out, driven by her commitment to Jasper's well-being and a deep-seated need to uncover the truth. Persistence finally led to a breakthrough. The woman, perhaps recognizing Clara's sincere dedication, agreed to meet. Clara sat across from Jasper's former adopter, her heart pounding with anticipation. She braced herself for the truth, the mystery that had haunted the shelter for days. The woman's voice was soft but filled with emotion as she began to speak. "I loved Jasper the moment I saw him," she confessed, her eyes glistening with tears. "But my health, it's been declining. I realized I couldn't give him the care he deserves." Her words were a painful echo of love and loss, a heart-rending revelation. Clara listened, a lump forming in her throat. The woman detailed the contents of the note, how it explained her deep affection for Jasper and her sorrowful decision. It was a note filled with love and a painful acknowledgement of her limitations. Clara understood now why Mary had torn it up. The truth was as beautiful as it was heartbreaking. Empathy washed over Clara as she absorbed the woman's story. Clara understood that sometimes the hardest decisions are made out of the deepest love. The meeting left Clara deeply moved and even more determined to find a solution. Clara, deeply moved by the woman's heartfelt story, proposed a solution. "What if we co-adopt Jasper? You can still be a part of his life." Her voice was gentle, offering a ray of hope. The woman's eyes widened at the proposal. "How would that work?" she asked. Clara explained they could share Jasper's care and expenses. This, they would coordinate visits and ensure Jasper had a stable environment. It was a unique arrangement, but one that promised to fulfill the needs of all involved, especially Jasper's. Tears of gratitude shimmered in the woman's eyes as she accepted Clara's offer. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Together, Clara and the woman began their journey of co-adopting Jasper. They set up a schedule for his care and visits, each detail crafted with love and consideration. The unique bond they formed was not just about sharing a pet, it was about creating a small, unconventional family bound by their love for Jasper. The story concludes with Jasper, content and purring, settling into his new forever home. So he now had not one, but two loving homes, where he was cherished and adored. Clara and the woman watched him play, their hearts full. Jasper's journey had brought them together, weaving their lives into a beautiful tapestry of compassion and companionship.